What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Excuse me while I whip this out.
All right, what is it? Is it Sunday night? Must be Sunday night. That means it's the Sunday Night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Turtles, Trudeau Survivor, how you guys doing? As everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on X, we're streaming on Locals. And when you get the first like, or the second or third or fourth or fifth like, and even more than that, when you get those likes, you get extra good karma. So it's more than just the regular one good karma you would get. Who got the first tonight? Well, let's see. Turtles got the second like. So let's see. I'm going to say that this is a quadruple good karma night. So that would mean triple good karma for Turtles in these troubled times. That's going to come in handy. Trudeau Survivor got the first like. So that's quadruple karma for you, my friend. Quadruple karma. It's almost too much. It's almost not fair to the rest of humanity. All right. Rosie, how you doing? Macross. Izzy. We got the whole gang showing up. Good to see you guys. Macross got the third. Well, then that would be double good karma for you, my friend. Double good karma. Izzy got number 4. So that would be 1.5 good karma for you. Excellent news. Excellent news all around. Everybody's doing well now. Everybody's safe now. That's the most important thing. Safety. That's the thing. That's my greatest concern with these live streams is the safety of my viewers. What are we going to talk about? Rosie says must be 2. Well, then that would be triple good karma, but I thought somebody else was 2. I don't know what's going on. Spambot, how you doing? All right. Let's go through the menu. So first off, this is just breaking stuff. It looks like they're going to have a deal. Senate reaches deal to extend government funding. A major sign that shutdown is poised to end. A major sign, shutdown is poised to end. We'll actually go to the Fox Live Now feed for that. So that's the first thing. That's just breaking news, basically. So it looks like that's going to be done. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about New York, obviously. So Red Mamdani and Trump is talking about it, and Mamdani's crazy, and there's his voters there. That's exactly who you thought they were going to be. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to look at his victory speech a little bit, because he said a lot of stuff that, I don't know, kind of crazy. It makes him look like a crazy commie, a terrible commie. Let's see. UK. So anyway, it's not going I guess it's going well for Allah in UK. Everybody else, not so much. Let's see. We're going to talk a little bit about the Canada land claims. Really, I mean, this deserves a lot of attention. We don't have time tonight, but this could turn like British Columbia into basically the third world. If this goes through, it's just, this is the suicidal empathy part of the fall of Western civilization here. It's total madness.
Optimistic outlook for growth.
We're going to talk about the Carney budget a little bit, and there's actually a contrast here. We're going to take a look at this article with a contrast between Canada and Argentina. Now, as everybody knows, they've got a leader, Milei, that they voted in. He's just been voted back in again in a huge landslide. He's a libertarian. Argentina is going the exact opposite direction from Canada to their benefit. And we're going to talk about that. We've got memes, obviously. Obviously, we've got memes. Why wouldn't we? It'd be stupid if we didn't have memes. Let's see. We got a little bit of gender ideology stuff. Google just, they can't let woke, they can't get woke out of their way. They can't just, it's here you're seeing reality versus woke. There's a battle. I feel like reality will, and also like almost $3 billion will probably win over woke. We have got, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the government coming back. Yeah, and we've got just a few extra things here in the last tab of the evening. It's always fun. It's a mixed bag. We've got Greg Gutfeld in an interview talking about his criticism of Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel. It's good times. And let's go back to the chat for a minute and see what you guys are talking about. Then we're going to get started. All right. Now what are we doing? Okay. Now, everybody also subscribe to the channel and like the stream. Also, we do have a premium stream coming up tomorrow night. One of our beautiful, beautiful Radio Baloney hangout streams. Tomorrow night, it's a premium stream, but you can also be a channel member and watch it. So become a channel member, get Rumble Premium, or being a channel member is the best way anybody can help me out. So gifting memberships is an awesome thing. And I will be eternally grateful to anybody who does that. Let's run through the chat a little bit here, and then we're going to get started. Let's see. Spambot says, join late, was listening to Vesper video on Democracy Watch's email about SNC Lavalin. Okay. Well, that's a Canadian, so people outside of Canada will not know about that the SNC Lavalin scandal and Justin Trudeau and corruption, but Canadians will. Rosie says government shutdown ended. Well, they're voting. They're going to be voting imminently. Have they already voted? That's the first thing we're getting on, though. It's all just breaking news. Let's see. Turtle says that she loves pizza art. Everybody loves pizza art. Made spaghetti for dinner. Fantastic news. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's see. Macross says, how you doing, Macross? Sauron Mamdani. Like the bad guy from Middle Earth, from Lord of the Rings, Mamdani. One dink ruled them all. Let's see. I don't even know what that means. Let's see. All right. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about Mamdani and his communist plans to ruin everything that he touches. Let's go to the live right now. So here, Senate procedural vote to end shutdown. So let's take a look. Now, Senate procedural vote to extend government funding and shutdown. 8 Democrats have now voted yes. 8 Democrats have now voted yes. So there's not much going on there for the time being. Let's go here. So from CNN Politics, Senate reaches deal. The Senate is voting now to break a Democratic filibuster on government funding legislation in a key step towards reopening the government. The vote comes after a critical group of at least 8 Senate Democratic centrists reached a deal with Senate GOP leaders and the White House to reopen the government in exchange for a future vote on extending enhanced affordable care subsidies, according to 2 people familiar with the discussions. So it seems in this case, the people familiar with whatever the issue is actually are familiar with it. So it does seem this is legitimate because typically anything regarding Trump, for one, people familiar with whatever is just made up. They're not real people. They're just, Thanksgiving travel in question. While the Senate works on a potential deal, the effects of the shutdown are still being felt across the country. Okay. So, but basically, it looks like the shutdown is over. Let's go back here for a second. So it was a long shutdown, 39 days, 21 hours, 10 minutes, 33, 34, 35 seconds. So it's not shut down. It's not open up yet. So it's still going, but it looks like they are going to be shutting it down tonight. So that's good news, right? All right. Well, I guess there's really nothing else. We'll just kind of keep our eyes on this Fox Live now. or actually, hold on a second. Let's update this. Let's turn that off. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been updated. Senate begins voting on bipartisan deal to fund the government. So, yeah, so it's going to be over tonight. They got the 8 Democrats they needed. All right. Let's go to New York. So I want to take a bit of a peek at. First off, here you wonder if you're wondering who voted for Zoran Mamdani in New York. This is helpful here. This is pretty much illustrative of all the people that voted for Zoran Mamdani right here, all of them. So they seem nice. Let's hear Zoran here. Mamdani's speech wasn't a victory address. It was a manifesto. So I actually hadn't watched the speech until today because I've been busy. But I watched it today, and let's take a look here.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power.
So dismantling the conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. So I guess capitalism and constitutional republic. I'm not being facetious. I think that's what he means.
This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump.
Well, wait a second. If he's like this despot, right, who's just like this authoritarian, well, how would you get rid of him exactly? Like you wouldn't be able to. That's the thing. You'd have to have like a revolution or something, right? I don't think he's talking about that. I mean, because here's the thing. They know very well that he's not actually a despot, right? They know very well that, there's going to be elections, all of this. It's just the language that they use for their smooth-brained followers. Let's continue.
Since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
There's another 4 words. Shut the fuck up. Those are another 4 words. I think they're better, actually.
We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants.
All the Donald Trumps of the city. Everybody you don't like is a Donald Trump now. That's it. It's just all a bunch of Donald Trumps. It's a half a country worth of Donald Trumps. So, he's not kind of like so smiley and cutesy anymore all of a sudden, is he? Maybe the real Zoran's coming out now. I don't think that Trump is too worried, though. Let's see what Trump had to say about him. This was posted by Clandestine.
On November 5th, 2024, the American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York.
Hold on, let me redo that. Hold on.
On November 5th, 2024, the American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We rescued our economy, regained our liberty, and together we saved our country. On November...
He doesn't sound too worried about Zoran. I think he's faced worse. What's this one here? Let's see. This was Charlie Kirk posted this. This was July 1st. So this is well before Zoran became the mayor of New York. But let's hear this.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City. Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zoran Mandami, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zoran Mandami.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction with the state government. They get more in the city and state governments than we get.
Right, substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. We're going to look at everything, and ideally. He's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you got a lot of them like that.
So, yeah, I mean, there's things that they can do on the federal side, cutting off federal funds, right? That's a thing that can be done. Hold on. I mean, communist. Well, let's see. Hold on a second. We have to show, if we're doing Zoran Mamdani, we have to do the real commie stuff just to show that we know what we're talking about when we call him a commie. Hold on. There is so much on this guy. Here we go. What's going on here? Zoran Mamdani says as mayor, he would take action to have police removed specifically from high crime areas. Let's hear this.
Do you think that we have to almost do without policing in certain areas, which are labeled as being high crimes, to have alternative bodies? Do the policing in a more compassionate, more merciful, more social, assisting and helping more than arresting and putting in jail?
I absolutely think that what we need to do is give support and funding to institutions that are trained to deal with these kinds of issues. Mm-hmm. As you said, if you're having an argument with someone and there's a risk of it escalating, who is better positioned to de-escalate it? Someone who is well known in the community, or someone who has been trained specifically in de-escalation, mm-hmm. or a stranger who has a gun? And we see so many.
Yeah, somebody who's been trained in being beaten to death by somebody who doesn't want them there. Maybe Zoran just hates social workers and he wants to cull the herd. I don't know. Here's the real commie stuff right here.
The platform is that every single person should have housing, and I think faced with these two options, the system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused, right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee.
Abolition of private property. So, yeah, really commie. That's super commie. Super extra commie. Hold on there. I got one more for you. Oh, where is it? Got one more for you. Here we go. This is the ultimate. Seizing the means of production. Seizing the means of production. I think it starts over about here.
The end goal of seizing the means of production. Sure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production.
the end goal of seizing the means of production with a big smile. He's thrilled about that. I kind of feel like he's a commie. I kind of feel like he's a bit of a commie. Like a lot of a commie, actually. And let's hear what else he has to say. Hold on. Let me just refresh this. Okay. Because he had lots to say. Let's see. This is posted by Tom Elliott. Zoran Mamdani, who is definitely not a communist, starts his victory speech by quoting a communist. Let's take a look.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Eugene Debs, who's that? Let's see. Eugene V. Debs. Let's see. This is Marxists.org. Marxists.org. Huh. The Marxist Internet Archive is proudly bearing the Eugene V. Debs Internet Archive, started by Socialist Party member John Metz in July of 2001. 100th anniversary. So this is over 20 years old. But in any case, he's on the Marxist Writers Internet Archive. So pretty Marxist. I mean, Socialist Party of America. He's certainly communist adjacent at the very least. Okay. The Marxists seem to like him a lot. They love him. All right. So, yeah, a lot of commie going on around here. Well, around there. Let's see. From Thomas Hearn, Zoran Mamdani's victory speech was reminiscent of something you would expect to hear from a dictator. Like Fidel Castro, not the mayor of New York City, they always accuse their enemies of being what they are. It's like an ironclad rule for the commies.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
So just everything in your life, the government is going to solve or care about. Got to solve every problem. Now, the only thing is they need to completely control your life to do that. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to give them utter and complete control over yourself. Right? And, of course, that's going to include, those pesky First, Second Amendment, those types of things that could get in the way of them controlling everything to help you, right? To fix everything for you. When will humanity learn? Maybe never, but all I can tell you is this. Zoran Mamdani is obviously a Nazi. Now, National Socialist, and he's an open socialist, right? So it shouldn't really be surprising. Let's take a look. He's doing Nazi salutes.
Thank you.
Nazi salute.
Do it again.
Nazi salute.
Zoran Mamdani making history.
Nazi salute twice.
Ecstatic crowd of supporters saying we have toppled a political dynasty.
3 Nazi salutes.
On a politics that.
Well, we know from AOC and others at MSNBC that is obviously, it can be nothing other than a Nazi salute. We know that when Elon Musk did that, they informed us. They said, no, that's definitely a Nazi salute. He's definitely a Nazi. So Zoran, there we go. These are the rules. We didn't make up these rules. Zoran knows that he has to be a Nazi, a National Socialist, because Nazis were left-wing, by the way, right? Just in case there's any confusion about this. National Socialists. So, yeah, I mean, that should do him in right there. It's unbelievable. Let's see. This is from Native Patriot. Now, there's something missing here from his speech. Can you guys pick out what it is?
After all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate. I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older. I am Muslim. I am a democratic socialist. And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this.
So what's the thing that he skipped out there? Let's see. Did you catch what line was missing from Zohran Mamdani's victory speech? He said, I am young, I am Muslim, I am a democratic socialist. He never once said, I am an American. He never once said that. He didn't say, I'm an American. Not hard to see where his loyalties lie. Well, New York City is a third foreign born, right? So it's a third not American. Just not. I mean, especially if you're born as an adult or a teenager and you move to another country, obviously you're going to take all of that culture and politics, whatever, with you from whence you came, and it's not the place that you are, right? So if you're 20 and you move from, I don't know, Nigeria to Germany, you're not going to think the same as all of the Germans, right? It's just the way it is. It's just obvious. But he did not say that he's an American. And of course not. Of course not. He hates the United States. He hates the Western world. I still get a kick out of this. New York City liberal white woman is asked what her biggest concerns are. She says that it's her illegal alien neighbors getting taken off the street and kids not getting sex changes. Let's take a look. Let's watch this.
I think what's really important and standing out for me right now is if we can take ourselves like a high level, like not say immigration, not say economy, not say all the hot talking points, and just ask ourselves, how are we treating our neighbors? Like, how are we treating one another? And is it okay that yesterday, on Saturday, 42 million of our neighbors no longer can feed themselves? It is okay. Is it okay that our...
I think they're not her neighbors, though. That's the thing. You know that where she lives, that it's not her neighbors.
Neighbors are getting taken off the streets by ICE. Is it okay that gender-affirming care is being taken from young people who really need it to survive?
Child sex changes, castration, chemical castration, surgical castration, double mastectomies, sterilization. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what she's talking about? I think that is actually what she's talking about there, but she calls it gender-affirming care. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's the opposite of that. Maybe that's the real conversion therapy.
Is it okay that the Supreme Court has now justified racial profiling? That's not how I want to treat my neighbor. I think what's really important is...
the people she's talking about are not her neighbors, right? Just not her neighbor. You know that. You know it's not her neighbors. It's so nice. She reminds me of the one who says that she wants to live somewhere where there's like 20 different languages. So the one who said she wanted to live somewhere where she can't understand what anybody is saying because it makes her feel like progressive. Weird. All right. So hold on. Let's go back up to the top. There's a couple more things I want to show you. Actually, I'm just going to do this. That's just easier. All right. Here's Tom Homan. This is from 3 hours ago. Eric Doherty. So I think Zohran probably hates this guy. Probably hates Tom Homan. Let's take a look.
This nation today.
And you're doing such a great job, Tom. Kevin Cork here. You're also limiting trafficking. People don't talk nearly enough about that. This administration has done so much to try to curtail what has been an absolute disaster for so many young women and children who've been trafficked across the border. Now, I want to turn for just a moment to ICE detainments. You may have read this. CBS is actually reporting that there are somewhere in the area of 66,000 detainees in ICE custody. That's a 70% increase, by the way, since the president took office office, and it's a new record high. But there are others, Tom, reporting that ICE is now considering buying large warehouses to hold the influx of illegal aliens. And so I'm wondering tonight if you can give us any insight on this, and is capacity becoming a real issue? And if so, how are you dealing with it?
Well, I looked at the numbers about, an hour ago. We're about 65,000.
Okay.
But hold on tight, because we're going to soon be at 100,000. Right beginning of February, I spent hundreds of trips up to Capitol Hill talking with senators and congressmen, the big, beautiful bill, telling them why we need 100,000 beds. And we're going to get those 100,000 beds very soon. And the reason why there's 100,000 beds, because an average bed turns over 10 times a year, right? The average length of stay is 30 to 35 days. So every ICE bed turns over 10 times a year. Well, you got 100,000 beds, and those beds turn over 10 times. What do you got? You got 1 million. So, 100,000 beds will come online soon. And so if people are having a fit about 65,000, you're going to really have a fit when 100,000 beds are online. That's what we need to do this operation. Everybody we arrest needs a bed, because we don't simply arrest somebody and put them on a plane within a half hour. They got to be bedded down. They got to get travel documents and plane arrangements and removal, itineraries put in place.
This is really the attitude that it's just got to be widespread across the West now, right? Amongst conservatives, right? Just don't give their crocodile tears any notice. Just ignore it, right? Just ignore it. There's work to be done. It has to be done. Yeah, just let them cry their crocodile tears. All right. Well, I think that's it for. Oh, actually, we're not done. Actually, hold on. I wanted to go here. So, Washington Post, the Washington Post editorial board opinion piece here. Zohran Mamdani drops the mask. The mayor-elect divides New Yorkers into two groups. The oppressed and the oppressors. Yes, he's a communist. He's the left. Yes, this is the modern left now. It's all about oppressed and oppressor dynamics in everything. Hold on. All right. A new era of class warfare has begun in New York. Yeah, well, he wants to charge higher property taxes to white people. That's one of his things. And no one is more excited than Generalissimo Zohran Mamdani. Is this the Washington Post? Is this the Washington Post? They're calling him Generalissimo? Unbelievable. But, I mean, it's good. Witness the mayor-elect's change of character since his Tuesday election victory. Mamdani ran an upbeat campaign with a nice guy demeanor and perpetual smile papering over a long history of divisive and demagogic statements. Yes, he played dumb, basically, during the election. Just the nice guy with good intentions, which is how they always are. To trick, gullible, historically illiterate people. New Yorkers periodically checking in on politics could understandably believe that he simply wanted to bring the city together and make it more affordable with crazy ideas that have never worked. That interpretation became much harder after his victory speech. Across 23 angry minutes, laced with identity politics and seething with resentment, Mamdani abandoned his cool disposition and made clear that his view of politics isn't about unity. It isn't about letting people build better lives for themselves. It is about identifying class enemies, from landlords who take advantage of tenants to the bosses who exploit workers and then crushing them. His goal is not to increase wealth, but to dole it out to favored groups. The word growth didn't appear in the speech, but President Donald Trump garnered 8 mentions. Yes, he went on about they all do. They all, even in Canada, the leftist politicians go on about Trump endlessly. He's like their eternal boogeyman. So it tells you something when even the Washington Post is dropping this, right? Calling him Generalissimo. Wow. I mean, it's a bit of sanity. It's maybe a bit too late, though, because he's mayor. All right. Let's go to the chat. Oh, hold on. There we go. This is an instructional video. So in case you're out in the woods or something and your knife handle breaks, this is how you can fix it to survive. And that's all that this video is about that I'm showing you right now. It's not about the large breasts. Let's see. What's going on? McCross says, and Pelosi says, I quit like she's never said that before. Stop threatening us with a good time. Yeah, she did say that, didn't she? I mean, how can she keep going? Is she just in now to try and protect herself from like insider trading charges or something? I don't know. I know she made a lot of money with her husband. Let's see. McCross says, oh shit, our government has decided to return and continue effing things up. Oh, well, it was a nice month and some weeks. Yeah, I'm afraid they're going to start interfering again. Let's see. McCross says Sauron talking about Zoran Mamdani. Let's see. Let's see. Nevada got number 6. I think that's 1.25 likes for like number 6, JJ Nevada. 1.25 good karmas for you, my friend. How you doing, JJ? All right. Now what's going on? We are ripping Sauron like a fart, McCross says. How crude. How crude. How vulgar. How vulgar. Let's say, Nevada says, glad I don't live in New York City. You know, I went there a couple of times. Last time I was there must be, I don't know, it must be like 15 years ago or something. I mean, it was a cool city. That was before their string of that absolutely batshit crazy mayors. I think de Blasio really messed things up. It was clean when I went there. It was clean. Let's see. McCross gives 10 out of 10 commie hate for Mamdani. I think it's fair. Tough, but fair. Let's see. Nevada says he's the number one U-Haul salesman now. Yeah. Well, there was reports of 1 million people planning to leave, and they've lost, I think, 600,000 people over the last, 5 years or something. But they'll get the people you don't want going to your city going to the city, thinking they're going to be getting a bunch of free stuff. A lot of them, I think that like it's groceries are going to be free. That was, in fairness to Mamdani, he never said free groceries. He said no profit groceries at government-owned grocery stores, which has been tried in the U.S. and has failed miserably. But I'm sure people will be flocking there thinking they're going to be getting free groceries and free buses. And yeah, that's not going to happen. Let's see. McCross says New York City is going to become more competition for Baltimore. Send more rats. Yikes. Let's see. Oath Support says she's calling for the mass death. Oh, you're talking about that blonde liberal woman from New York. She's calling for the mass death of gender reassigned who are underage and will, suicide themselves at higher rates. Well, they do. And she doesn't know that. Here's the thing. They don't know anything and they don't want to know. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want cognitive dissonance, right? They don't want to know and they won't listen. Let's see. You can tell them, read the WPATH files. They will not. They just don't want to know. They want to be in their safe little bubble, right? Where everybody agrees with them. Let's see. All right. Let's move on. What do we got? UK. So they've got a problem over there. They've got a problem. I guess it's an ideological problem, first and foremost, because religions are ideologies, right? But they've got one, a universalist one there now, and there's more and more people holding to this, and they're gaining more and more power politically, and they don't think other people should be able to not be them or do what they do, and this is going to be a problem.
You need to be earning halal rizq, and you need to be in that gym, doing that MMA, doing that boxing, lifting those weights, strengthening yourselves up, so that if anyone comes into your face, remember, Muslims are not pacifists. If somebody comes into your face, you knock his teeth out. That's my message to them.
If he has any teeth.
If they have teeth.
Okay, so like Brother Shahid said, and to sort of add on to it, build your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Most importantly, observe your salawat, observe your prayers. Keep your tongue moist with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This awakening ain't going to come by these protests. Let's be frank.
Yeah.
It's to build your spiritual connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to act upon the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Put that in front of your mind. We see many people who look up to their, role models, and our role model is the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So let's keep that connection, and victory will come. Wallah al-azim. It will come, but it requires sacrifice, it requires patience, and it requires...
You need to be earning halal rizq, and you need...
So this guy, he sounds like at least he must be second generation British. I mean, he's got an English accent, right? So it's a major problem over there. I mean, he's talking about victory. They're going to have victory. Well, we know what that means, right? And it's not that it's going to become a problem. It's already a massive problem over there. And if you don't believe me, look at the political changes. Look at the rise of Reform, which is now, the dominant party politically in the UK, and will win the next election. So this stuff, these chickens they're already coming home to roost, but they're going to come home to roost in a bigger way, much bigger way. All right. I mean, it's inevitable. It's just obvious. I mean, how much more obvious could it be? Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay. Eleanor Sturko posted this. A letter delivered to Richmond residents on behalf of the Premier's office seems to acknowledge that private property owners may already be experiencing impacts on mortgages, refinancing, property sales, or permits as a result of the Cowichan Tribes versus Canada decision. This is there was a ruling in British Columbia that handed a bunch of Richmond, an area called Richmond, which is just outside Vancouver, over to a native band because somebody said that they fished there 150 years ago. And so fee simple, what's called fee simple. So just private ownership of land is now under threat. So people that have, spent decades paying off a mortgage to pay off their house, that's now not certain anymore. You can't have, and the entire province, the entire province has been carved out for all of these new cases to go to the courts. And you can't have a province or a state or a country operating like this. I mean, it's madness. I mean, there'll be no investment. The money's all going to flood out. British Columbia would simply become British Columbia would just become the third world. It would become very, very poor because nothing will happen here if you just give all the land away. And these are, tribal bands that are, I mean, you're talking, sometimes it's like 50 people, 90 people. It's total insanity. And all of BC is up for grabs, by the way. Almost the entire province. Cowichan decision. Information and support for local residents. Hello, my name is Christine, and I'm your Government of British Columbia community contact in the Premier's office. My role is to work directly with Richmond residents and small businesses potentially affected by the recent Cowichan title lands decision. So while all this was going on, by the way, nobody told the locals. Nobody told the people whose land is there, whose land is affected. Nobody did. I'll be in the area throughout November to listen, blah, blah, blah. How I can help. Listen to your experiences, including any impacts on mortgages, refinancing, property sales, or permits. Because people are already saying that they can't get their mortgage re-upped. That people are having problems with these because, well, who owns the land? Do they even own the land? Still up in the air now. This is lunacy. Canada is crazy. Here's an Indigenous law firm called OKT, and they've released their summary of the Cowichan land claim. Let's take a look at this. Aboriginal title is a prior and senior right to land. It is not estate granted by the Crown, but rooted in prior occupation. It is constitutionally protected. The question of what remains of Aboriginal title after the granting of fee simple title to the same lands should be reversed. And again, fee simple means just private property. The proper question is, what remains of fee simple title after Aboriginal title is recognized in the same lands? That means they want it. They want it all. All right. Notably, the Land Title Act does not prevent Aboriginal title holders from challenging the validity of fee simple grants. This can't this just simply can't happen. Like, there is a route to just stopping all this, although it's long and complicated. You can't simply give away an entire province. You just can't. Again, everything will flood. Every penny that will flood out of this province. Nobody's going to invest anything here. It's going to be a total disaster, and it would become just a third world country. Well, not even a third world province. Maybe Canada would just shed it at that point. Say, actually, you have to be independent. To try and buy the land back would just totally bankrupt the country. So no, I mean, this is lunacy. This is where suicidal empathy takes you, and it's madness. So, Private Property Rights BC from Cat Canada. Ross, why is Carney so quiet when people are so anxious about their homes? It's not just in BC. They want a giant piece of Quebec. They want, I think, a large part of New Brunswick as well. These are places so-called unceded where there's no treaties. The rest of Canada does have treaties, but look, we know with activist judges, none of that actually means anything. Activist judges don't actually care about the law. They care about being activists. So everybody in Canada should be nervous about this.
Premier Irby says the court decided not to provide Richmond homeowners with notice of the Cowichan court litigation, but the Cowichan lawyer said the judge in the case said the parties were free to provide notice of this litigation to private landowners years ago. This includes Canada as represented by the Attorney General. Canada has been and still is missing in action. Why is the Prime Minister being so quiet at a time when people are anxious about their homes and looking for answers?
Minister for Crown Indigenous Relations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Canada disagrees with the BC Supreme Court's ruling and appealed it on September 8th. Further legal clarity.
Why isn't Carney talking about this? This is a catastrophe for the country, the entire country. Why isn't he talking about this? I thought he was supposed to be some kind of centrist, Mark Carney. I mean, we keep hearing about how he's actually quite conservative. No, he's not. He's a radical leftist. That's why we're not hearing about it from him. Because he just thinks that it's, politically inconvenient. Maybe he wants an election right now. He doesn't care about Canada, I can tell you that much. If he cared about Canada so much, why hadn't he been living here for his adult life? I mean, he's barely spent any of his adult life in Canada. He just parachuted in from Europe. because he thought he could get an easy win and use Canada as his net zero laboratory. I think if Pierre Poilievre was prime minister, he'd be talking about this, because this really is a catastrophe for the country. Like, it's impossible to overstate how catastrophic this is. Okay? Like, Alberta independence is nothing compared to this. This Alberta could get independence and just leave, and the government wouldn't have to spend $1 trillion. This is a catastrophe. A catastrophe. All right. It is surreal. This is the damage that can be done to your country when you let radical leftists take over. This is the damage that happens when every institution is taken over by radical leftists. All right. Let's go to the chat. Let's see. McCross says, we are actually on subject tonight. Not sure Richie will be able to handle it. I appreciate it very much. You're not talking about food. I really appreciate that. I wonder what's going on now. What kind of crazy ads could I read, though? What kind of crazy ads? Well, the crypto one, that's a beautiful ad. Let's do that. That's super fun. All right, everybody. Let's be clear. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And this latest move cements that reality in the biggest way yet. Trump Media Group just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Crypto.com, the world's top crypto platform. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cashback on your spends to launch America's first CRO treasury. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest CRO holder out there. Want in on the action? Head to Crypto.com today and grab some CRO. Let's make crypto great again. I tried to read it normal and I couldn't. The ad's too good. I had to go into weird accent. I couldn't help myself. I try and I try and I try. Let's see, beautiful, beautiful ad, though. Everybody loves that beautiful ad. It's very memorable. Everybody's going to get right on top of that, I know. Izzy says, Alberta doesn't have any unceded land. All bands have treaties here. That's true. And the only thing is, for activist judges, they don't care. They don't care. Do you think that an activist judge wouldn't go, actually, that treaty is not valid anymore. So now you have to give everything to this band that's like 37 people. I wouldn't feel too secure in that. Like, if you want to talk about a national crisis, like, the tariffs are nothing compared to this land claim stuff. Nothing. It's like, it is nothing compared to that. It's a snowflake compared to an avalanche. JJ Nevada says, just wait till I get Greenland. Every single stream we hear from JJ and his lust to conquer Greenland, to take Greenland for himself, to be the ruler, the undisputed ruler, an unchallenged ruler of Greenland, emperor of Greenland. I think that he'd do great things with Greenland. I really do. I hope he gets it one day. Let's see. What are we talking about? Nevada says Alberta should build a wall now. Walls are good. Hey, I like walls. Big, beautiful walls. Macross asks, Alberta will be the 51st state. I don't think Alberta would be. I think if Alberta did get independence, if it does, and I think that's an absolute possibility, just become its own country with strong ties, obviously, to the United States. Let's see. JJ Nevada says, not if BC invades it. So Alberta will not become the 51st state if BC invades it. I don't think all that yoga and avocado toast is going to help BC with invading Alberta. I don't think it's going to help. I hear that now most Vancouver hipsters have adopted a avocado as their child, and then they post on Facebook that it's also trans. And then they post pictures of themselves with the avocado on suspension bridges. So that's parenting, I think, now. Let's see. In Vancouver with hipsters. Nevada says, we don't need any more woke bullshit. Nobody does. Nevada says, Richie needs to get out of there fast. I got my eye on Alberta. I like Alberta. I've lived in Alberta. I like it there. I'd be happy to live there. Just got to get the rest of my family to move out there. Macross says, shit, BC, something trees will invade Alberta. Isn't BC the place where it's illegal to hike in the woods? Well, no, it wasn't BC. That was Nova Scotia, I think. Nevada says, I thought that was Nova Scotia. That's right. All right. Let's see. Just going to skip to the end. Spambot says, Alberta is too independent to separate from Canada and then just join the USA. No way. Yeah, that's what I think, too. I think Alberta just wants to be its own country. Or there's, a lot of people there who would like that. All right, what are we doing next? All right, so there's that. We did the land claims. So you do see the occasional thing on CBC. It makes the presenters very uncomfortable and unhappy and sad when stuff like this happens. But occasionally somebody actually gets through the filter and is able to tell the Canadian people the truth. It's remarkable. Let's take a look. This guy is just David Cochrane, just an utter shill for the Liberal Party. Shameless as well. But let's watch this.
World Economic Time, there is a somewhat optimistic outlook for growth in this budget. I mean, how realistic do you think this budget outlook for the country's economic growth is?
I don't think it's realistic at all. Remember the old song, Don't Worry, Be Happy? That's basically what the economic chapter says. Here we got 41 million Canadians thinking, we're in a big trouble here. We're going to lose our access to the U.S. market. What's going to replace that in the near term? All of a sudden, we're going to export to Europe as higher productivity than we are. All of a sudden, we're going to export so much to China and India, which have made our lives miserable over the last couple of years. We don't have businesses investing already. Now they face the prospect they don't have a trade-free access to the U.S. All of a sudden, they're going to start to invest. I don't buy it. I don't think Canadians will buy it. I think the better course to say we're in a really tough position here. And it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take time. But instead, we get this economic outlook. In the blink of an eye, the unemployment rate's back to 6%. If that's going to happen, I'd be so happy you won't believe it. And I think I've sure wasted all my time worrying, but I think I haven't wasted the time worrying.
Well, on that.
Well. Yeah, somehow he snuck through. I'm sure he's not happy with hearing that. But the budget is, even on the CBC, there I'm commit. The budget is actually, there's nothing really that's going to help Canada. It's nothing that's going to turn the economy around. Fitch Ratings just chimed in. I just put out a video on that, I think, yesterday. Warning, saying, yeah, this doesn't look good for your rating. We're the guys who, give you your credit rating. If you're downgraded, you have to pay more to borrow the money, which we can't afford. We're already paying over $1 billion a week. So we're spending more on interest than the federal government is spending on healthcare in Canada. Right? And healthcare's in trouble right now. That's going to get worse, right? Because if the economy doesn't actually grow, with all of Mark Carney's net zero fantasies and carbon capture, the things he keeps insisting, industrial carbon taxes, sky high carbon taxes, all the things that Mark Carney keeps insisting make us more competitive, which just clearly do not. Making your products more expensive does not make them more competitive. Doesn't make any sense. He says, well, the EU requires this. Not from the US. They don't require it from the United States, who's sending them as much like LNG as they can handle right now. So none of it makes any sense. The budget is just a massive, I think, gift to green companies that Mark Carney is somehow through his vast network of connections and investments, he has interest in them in some way, and also just for his pet project, net zero. This has been, what he's been working on for like the last 20 years, right? And the whole thing has been falling apart. Banks have been leaving his net zero banking alliance. I'm sure that's been very humiliating for him. 4 Canadian banks leaving that before he became prime minister. I think it's pretty clear that this budget is not in the interest of the well-being of Canadians and their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. It's in the interest of Mark Carney and his ego and his business interests. We went through section 3 of the budget ourselves, and on Friday night. And it's nothing but woke and waste. I mean, the housing plan is just this fantasy, right? It seems to be, they are concerned with forcing women and like gay people to become carpenters and like framers and electricians and stuff for some reason. But it's just a bunch of the housing plan's a fantasy. It's throwing around hundreds of $millions for all the usual woke stuff. In short, it's a catastrophe, and there's a reason why this guy is not very optimistic, is because there's no reason to be optimistic. What else do we have here? All right, we're done with that. Let's get back to the chat first. Actually, you know where I want to go? I want to check out just any new news here on the that Senate vote to end the shutdown in the States.
Final vote right now, so let's go ahead and take you right back out there and see if we can listen to that live.
Oh, well, thank God they moved to the live feed. Thank God. It's still happening. You can see here it's still counting down, so it's still shut down. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to end it tonight. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for cutting to the live feed. All right. I'll go to the chat. What else we got going on? So we figured out how to fix a knife handle when you're out lost in the woods with your big tits. What's this here? There's Sydney Sweeney, but we've seen so much Sydney Sweeney. How about the boat show? Let's watch the boat show. I like boating. Big fans of boats. All right. Let's see what's going on here. What are you guys saying? Nevada says Alberta should become a U.S. territory. They will still have their independence and protection from U.S. Spambot says a territory like Puerto Rico. JJ says win-win. Spambot says that could work, but we would keep our drinking age at 18 for sure. And we would keep cannabis legal. I'm not sure it was the best decision, I was for it at the time, legalizing it. I don't know. I mean, on one hand, at least, like, it's hard to know, like, this fentanyl, all these crazy, like, drugs and shit, like, new drugs and shit that they're just putting in everything. I remember they were, like, 10 years ago, people were dying because there was something in their weed, So on that, at least people can go and know what they're getting is safe, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's good overall for a population, though, to encourage that. Because I've absolutely never done it myself. Absolutely never. Let's see. Macross says they will always have protection from the states from foreign parties like protectorates. Nevada says Alberta could do whatever they want and they would be able to become very wealthy. Well, that is true, as long as they have sensible governments. Spambot says Canada's paying more in interest than it collects in GST. That's true. Spambot is correct about that. That's why I got you guys in here in the chat. Rosie says crypto ads started off so growly. They then moved to creepy. No commie hate. Well, it's the script. I got to read the script. They tell me I got to read the script. If I want to earn that $1.30, I got to read it exactly. 8 out of 10 she gave me. Hey, it's still the most out of 10 you can get. Let's see. Cross says if Alberta separates from Canada, they will split Canada. I don't see that going well for them. I think the best solution, if that does have to happen, like the best solution would be BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan becoming a country. That would be the best solution. If Canada's got to break up, then that would be the best solution. And I've got a feeling after everybody found out that the NDP, the far left NDP party in British Columbia, has been hiding the threat to their private property, to land claims, to fee simple. I've got a feeling the NDP might not get back in, and after the next election, they may not get back in power for a long, long time, if ever. I'm sure there's lots of people in BC who still have no clue about this, but it is a catastrophe, and it is a big deal, but it's going to become the deal, the only deal that people can't ignore. Let's see. Rosie says, Alberta, build a wall, a moat, and a 10-foot perimeter of rose bushes. Well, it's the wild rose country in Alberta. Get out on your own, remain sovereign. I think there's support south of the border for this. Let's see. All right. Let us, where are we going? What do we have here? I wanted to just talk about, hold on a second. Did we have anything else here? No. All right. So I wanted to just talk about this. So the Niagara Independent put out a story. Canada and Argentina on two very different fiscal and economic paths. So I brought up the article, or I got the article, and yeah, this is the tale of two countries, right? So one just going off the radical progressive cliff, and one who's already gone off that in the past and is now trying to rebuild itself through a libertarian capitalist strategy. One's going down, one's on the way back up. I'll let you guess. Canada's the one going off the cliff. On two, so contrasting the details of this week's Canadian federal budget with last week's results of Argentina's midterm elections is a comparison that Canadians would be wise to take note of. Canada and Argentina are on two very different fiscal and economic paths. And keep in mind, Argentina was once a very wealthy country. Not after decades of socialism. Those divergent paths have been intentionally chosen by the country's leaders. Global banker, should we add elitist, globalist, technocrat, banker Mark Carney, and libertarian economist Javier Milei. The leaders' opposite approach to the challenges the countries face The leaders' opposite approach to the challenges the countries face may prove to be an instructive case study, a painful one for Canada, I think, one that will have lasting impact on the country's respective economic development and people's future prosperity. So, here. We don't need to read this whole thing. I just highlighted a couple of bits to get the point across. In framing Canadians' expectations prior to the budget delivery, PM Carney told an audience of university students that young people would need to sacrifice. And Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem observed that Canadians must accept a lower standard of living if things did not change. Well, we know with the budget, things aren't changing. It's just more. It's the same as under Trudeau, but more. It's turbo Trudeau at this point. Their messages are sobering given Canada's standard of living has slipped considerably. Against our American neighbors to the south in the last 5 years. I wanted to show you this quickly. Here is GDP per capita. So there's the United States. Here's Canada. So United States going in the right direction, Canada wrong direction. When did Trudeau get in? When did the era of radical leftism start in Canada? Well, it started here when Justin Trudeau, in 2015, when Justin Trudeau became prime minister. And you can see we're, about par, right? At parity with the United States. And we've been like that for a long time. And here's the progressivism. Here's the leftism, the socialism. Of course, you know what happened in 2020. United States had a nice recovery. Canada, not so much. Not so much. And net zero isn't going to help this, right? Net zero crony capitalism from Carney is not going to help this. Wokeism is not going to help this. So it's not just theory that Canada has a lost decade, right? It's not just theory. I mean, it has been a disaster. The Liberal Party policies of Trudeau, and of course, Mark Carney was advising Trudeau since at least 2020. Those policies have been a disaster. As it is now, Ontario residents' standard of living is similar to the worst state in the U.S., Mississippi. And to address this sad situation, the Carney Liberals propose to regulate industry more. Yes, all of those net zero regulations. And to set a fiscal path that spends more at rates that Jason Jakes, Canada's interim parliamentary budget officer, described as stupefying, shocking, and unsustainable. And he was appointed by Mark Carney. The financial markets seemingly did not receive the budget well. The financial markets seemingly did not receive the budget well, as the Canadian dollar has sunk to a 7-month low. This is Canada's chosen path forward, and Canadians are to sacrifice and expect less for now so that the Liberals can spend more, tax industries more, and guide our underperforming economy with a promise of some better time beyond 2030. So I guess Carney's figuring by 2030, Canadians will figure out what I'm doing. So as long as I get it done by then, at which point he will just flee the country and never return again. Canada's economic trajectory would be rather glum if it was not for the knowledge that there is another path forward. This path is being blazed by Javier Milei and an irascible libertarian, self-described anarcho-capitalist, and he is the very antithesis of Mark Carney, who has been dubbed in international circles as the quintessential Davos man. Quintessential Davos man. Globalist, not really connected to any country, just connected to his interests and the interests of the other globalists that meet up at Davos. In the 2 years he has been in office, Milei has turned Argentina into a libertarian laboratory where there has been a striking economic turnaround. So it said here Canada's economic trajectory would be rather glum if it was not for the knowledge that there is another path forward. For Canada, there's not. Not for right now, anyway. Canadians have not felt the kind of poverty that Argentinians have been feeling for a long time. So they just don't even know what they're voting for. With the country in shambles and its citizens hopeless, Milei took charge. He took his signature chainsaw approach to public spending and the bureaucracy. Milei eliminated 10 of 18 government ministries, capped the salaries of top bureaucrats, and held public sector pensions, fired 34,000, and that's 16% of government employees, and cut spending by 30%. These brutal cost-cutting measures resulted in budgetary surpluses the first month of his term in office and for every month since. I mean, these cuts are inevitable anyway, right? Like, at some point, you really are just not going to be able to get money from anybody, right, for the lavish spending anymore. So you might as well do it before it's the worst possible situation. With Milei's direction, the country has unharnessed its rich oil fields, and last year, Argentina exported more energy than it imported for the first time in 14 years. It is now on track to yield 1 million barrels of oil per day by 2030. This would bring in more than 30 billion into Argentina annually and create a half million jobs in the next 5 years. Milei refers to the country's shale oil reserves as a panacea and is encouraging greater energy exports by funding big infrastructure investments in new pipelines that will take oil to Tidewater and a new deep water port. The near-term vision is to develop exports of LNG to the Asian market, and pipelines are conspicuously absent from Carney's budget, by the way. So these are two totally different visions. Unlike Mark Carney and his intent to steer Canada into the orbits of Davos, Geneva, and Brussels, Milei is a vocal anti-globalist. Mark Carney, as we know, self-described elitist globalist. He has railed against the World Economic Forum and Davos crowd, stating at a World Economic Forum assembly, quote, "It is our moral duty and responsibility to dismantle the ideological edifice of sickly wokeism." Oh, that sounds great. Why can't Canada have some of that? Why can't Canada have nice things? Argentina has left the World Health Organization, citing deep differences regarding health management, especially during the pandemic. Why would we want to be involved with this organization that's controlled by China, clearly controlled by China? And the fact that Argentina would never, quote, allow an international body to interfere in our sovereignty. I don't think Carney even likes Canada. I don't think he wants Canada to have any sovereignty. Milei is also considering pulling out of the Paris Agreement and the UN's 2030 agenda and its net zero initiatives. Last month at the UN Assembly, Milei slammed the organization and its agencies as a supranational model of governance led by international bureaucrats who seek to impose a particular way of life on the citizens of the world. That's just Mark Carney. That's just Mark Carney. Clearly, under Milei's watch, Argentina will not become another of the globalist post-national states. Reading this is just making me depressed because it's just the complete opposite of what Canada has elected to do in the last election. It's depressing. This is what happens when you have a population, though, that is totally historically illiterate and has just been made utterly credulous by government-subsidized media. Milei then offered this counsel against misguided socialist fiscal and economic policies. Quote, "It is my duty to warn against this evil, because in Argentina, we have experienced it to its natural conclusion. We have reached the end of the comfortable path that leads to ignoring the future. We come from a future that has not yet arrived. We come from a future for you. Hold on, people. My brain. I need another sip of my ranch juice. Here we go. We come from a future that for you has not yet arrived. And I want to tell you that you still have time to avoid it. Well, this is what Canada needs to hear. I mean, it won't hear it, but we'll have to see what happens in the next election. But there are warnings. It's not just Malay warning Canada. It's the rating agencies as well. So I guess we'll just have to see just how crazy Canada really is. All right, let's get back to the chat. Let's see. Spambot says, I guess Alberta independence will be bad for what's left of the Marxist hellhole of Canada, but it will be awesome for Alberta. I think Alberta would prosper. I mean, it doesn't even really need, it could just sell oil to the States, right? I mean, that would be enough without having to hand over all that transfer money to Ottawa. Canuck Six Stringer, how you doing? Says, I love the wood strip deck on that boat. That's why I know you guys like boats. That's why I show you the boat show. Let's see if we've got another boat show. Hold on. I think we've got another boat show on. Let's see. Where is it? Hold on. Where's the fence lady? We love the fence lady. What happened to... there we go. Here's the other boat show. This is a really good boat show. Really great boats in this. There we go. Let's see. Rosie says, my husband, trained LEO, not active now, does not believe that the shooting instructor uses one hand to successfully shoot the shotgun. I need shooting class now. Well, that one's in women's sports. So, I could look for women's sports. Everyone's going to have to be patient, though. Let's see. All right. I'll look it up. Why not? What are we, an hour 24 into this? We don't have that much show left anyway. I think maybe we got another hour left. Let's see. Can I find women's sports? Women's sports. Where is it? There's just too many bookmarks is the problem. It takes forever to find anything. You got to start culling some of the old ones out. Where? Hold on. There we go. All right, here we are. All right, there you go. Well, she's not using one hand. No, she's using both hands. Well, I think it seems all right. All right. Spambot says Turdo is bad news. That is Mark Carney. I was saying that during the election. I said he's Turbo Trudeau, and he is. This budget proves that he's Turbo Trudeau. Spambot says net zero is zero prospects for Kanakastan's future. It's going to be great for Mark Carney's future, though, because the second he's no longer prime minister, he's going to flee the country, never to return. Macross says, I heard they culled those defenseless. They did. Yeah, there's some symbolism there, I think. Macross says, if it wasn't for Richie, I would be writing Trump to up Canadian tariffs 100%. Well, nobody ever said I wasn't a patriot. Let's see. And thanks for not doing that, by the way, Macross. All right. All right. I'm gonna move. We're gonna keep moving here. So I think we're at memes now. Let's do memes. All right. So Elon Musk reposted this one. So what's this one here? Let's see. So this is the Sydney Sweeney interview there, where the kind of very like insipid interviewer was trying to kind of bait Sydney Sweeney into saying something that, saying something controversial about the genes ad. The only people who think the genes ad are controversial are just weird woke people like her. You meant happy holidays, right? That is based of Sydney Sweeney there. That's extremely based. Absolutely not. Yeah, that look she gave her during that interview, that was gold. He's just like, I'm not playing your game here. You can imply that the jeans ad was somehow white supremacy or something. I'm not playing your game. I know who you people are, and I know it's not a game you can win. So no, just no. And that's what you tell the woke. You just tell them no. You never apologize. They just see that as weakness, and it just gets worse. So anyway, good meme. Good meme. What do we got next? Let's see. What's this? Mark Robinson. You must seek to find out for yourself. But how does one find out? Fuck around. That's how you find out. You fuck around and then you find out. You have to have a certain amount of fuck around and finding out in your life to lead a good and full life. Right? It's not always a terrible thing. You do need to do some fucking around in order to find out. Right? I mean, there's some fucking around you should never do because you really don't want to find out. But you got to do some fucking around. Otherwise, you'll never find out. All right, let's keep going. Algie Goosen. Huh, what's this? Real socialism has never been tried in the same way that real capitalism has never been tried. The difference is almost socialism resulted in the impoverishment and death of hundreds of millions of people, while almost capitalism has lifted billions from absolute poverty. Well, it does seem to go that way. I mean, it's just objectively true that that's how it's actually gone, right? Capitalism has lifted billions from absolute poverty, from subsistence living, and socialism just kills everybody. Or makes them extremely poor and ruins their quality of life. And also takes away their freedom and just, it's bad. So he's got a point. Let's see. What's this from Teresa Lovehale? Free speech has not been banned in the UK. And we will arrest anyone who says it has. This is literally the UK now. This is literally the UK. This is Airstrip 1. This is Keir Starmer, right? This is Keir Starmer. Do you remember when he was with Trump and he talked about how proud he was of free speech, the free speech that they have in the UK while they're arresting 13,000 people for saying naughty things on the internet every year? That's just actually what will happen. They will just arrest you. Let's see. What's going on here? Joe Manico. Let's see. Socialism in theory looks great. Socialism in theory, it looks great. Socialism in practice, ooh, oh, man. Oh, they look way better in the ad. Way better in the ad. What even is that? Is that like a trans He-Man or something? Ugh. Oh, well, won't order that again. Let's see. Next, let's see what's going on here. Slavic posted this. Western teenagers praising communism because they're dumb. People who know history and basic economics. Yeah, they're worried about that. Eastern Europeans. Well, they are the most I think they're the most effective, anti-communism communicators. Eastern Europeans, as well as there's also some from China that have been very effective as well. But yeah, I mean, nobody's more effective than people who've actually had to suffer under it. Let's see. What's going on here from Dwiddly Do? State of Canada nowadays. Well, what's going on here? What elbows up really means for Team Canada. That's what he meant all along. That's what he meant. And Canada listened. Let's see. Confirmed from American Papa Bear. Don't shoot. I'm retarded. Prove it. I voted for Mom Donnie. Well, that really would prove it. That really would prove it, actually. Say no more. Let's see. What's this? American Dad. Meme them until they cry, then make memes about them crying. Donzu. Yeah, meme them until they cry, then make memes about them crying. Thing is, he actually does that, which is great. Let's see. Vigilant Fox posted this one. Checks net worth. Result equals millionaire. So Bernie Sanders used to be for taxing the millionaires and billionaires. And now he's only for taxing the billionaires for some reason. And he's not for taxing the millionaires anymore. Or at least he doesn't talk about it because he's a millionaire now. Let's see. Billionaires are immoral. Yeah. Not millionaires anymore. Not millionaires, just the billionaires now for some reason. He changed his mind on that. The handoff coronation. So there is Justin Trudeau handing off the keys to Canada to his mentor, Mark Carney, and finish it. And Mark Carney, with this budget, he is finishing it. He's doing his best to finish it. Let's see. Concerned Canadian posted this. Trump didn't destroy Canada. We did. Yes, Canada's troubles started when this guy took over. Trump hasn't caused our troubles, right? Our troubles were far advanced before there was even any tariff talk at all, right? Canada was always already in massive trouble before the tariffs. The national debt had already been doubled, right? Our GDP per capita had already been going in the wrong direction. This is Trump has been a minor figure, quite frankly, in the decline of Canada. I'm not saying the tariffs haven't had any effect. They have, but he's been a minor player. If you want to talk about the decline of Canada, these guys, especially this one here, only Trudeau is mostly responsible for it, only because Mark Carney hasn't had long enough. Though keep in mind, Carney was advising Trudeau since 2020, so it's not like he doesn't have a lot to do with it as well. All right. What's this? Chick from Alberta. Let's see. What does this say? Canada, a subsidiary of the Brookfield Corporation. Yeah, that's just true. That's just true at this point. Canadians voted for it. All right. Anybody watching on YouTube, go to the new Radio Baloney News channel. This is where all the U.S. news, world news, meme reviews are. The channel you're watching right now, Radio Baloney, the one with 13,000 subscribers, just live streams and Canadian news. For all the other stuff, you've got to go and subscribe to Radio Baloney News, the new channel. All right. So what is going on? Something beautiful has just happened. I'm just in the chat, and I'd like to report that something beautiful has happened. Macross was gifted a membership. I'm fighting back tears right now. Macross was gifted a membership by Rosie. Guess what? Rosie? Best person ever. best person ever, Rosie. Now, everybody has their heroes, the people they admire through history. I'm here to tell you that compared to Rosie, dog shit, all of them, garbage humans compared to Rosie. I'm saying they may be great still, but just compared to Rosie, garbage. I mean, just nothing. I would like to thank Rosie very much for gifting that membership. It's really the most beautiful thing, most beautiful gesture anybody can offer to any other human being, and it will be for all of time. And it's the best thing anybody can do for my channel. So if you want to help out the channel, anybody, that's the thing to do. And that means that Macross now can watch the Rumble Premium stream tomorrow, which will be a wonderful thing. All right. Thank you, Rosie. Let's see. What are you guys saying? JJ Nevada says UK is gone. It feels like they might have a civil war at some point. But if they're going to do that, they better not wait too long. Let's see. Macross says, it's a quote here from Treat Williams. Communism is 1/3 perspiration and 2/3 explanation. And also another 2/3 starving to death. Let's see. Oh, Will Rogers, Macross says. Will Rogers. Okay. All right. Rosie says, thank you for the gun show. You ask, I deliver. So what's going on here? This is hilarious. Mario Nawfal posted this. Google hired a genius. Now they want him gagged. Google paid nearly $3 billion to bring Noam Shazir on board. And he's delivered, pushing Gemini forward in critical ways. But now leadership is trying to muzzle him over a personal post saying he doesn't believe in gender ideology or child sterilization. Now, they've invested a lot of money in this guy, buying his company and bringing him into Google, right? And really at this point, wokeness, like what he thinks in his personal, what he says in his personal life, should really have no impact on anything, right? Like, this is genuinely just here a situation where it's either merit or you should just burn your company to the ground, because eventually that's going to happen anyway. Let's go here. Meet Noam Shazir, the AI pioneer Google paid $2.7 billion to rehire, now sparking internal clashes. Look, it cost them $2.7 billion to bring the guy in. AI pioneer, he's helping them improving their AI right now. All of those people that are offended should immediately be fired. That is the sane thing to do. Just get rid of all of them. All of them. Google's AI pioneer Noam Shazir returns amid a $2.7 billion acquisition. His outspoken views on gender and Gaza have ignited internal tensions over free speech and company culture. What does any of that, like, free speech and company culture, what does company culture, this whole idea of the company culture, which is just woke culture, progressivism, everybody being afraid of saying the wrong thing because some lunatic's going to be offended, that just needs to go away. Just merit, that's it. Just months after Google spent a staggering $2.7 billion to bring back Noam Shazir, one of its most influential AI minds, the company now finds itself grappling with a very different kind of challenge: Shazir's outspoken online views. Here's the solution. Who cares? Right? Who cares? All right. This guy is like an AI engineer. He's guaranteed to be on the spectrum anyway. Like, you can't expect these guys to just be normal, right? Like, he's obviously, in the genius level, intellect and abilities to, if they're paying him $2.7 billion, right? And that's, they bought his company, right? But to bring him in, none of this should matter. It's all totally irrelevant. According to a report by The Information, Shazir clashed with colleagues on internal forums over posts about gender and Gaza. Moderators reportedly removed some of his comments after he shared personal views that stirred heated debate inside Google. Just fire them all. They're just annoying. The people that are upset are just irritating everybody else anyway. You will improve the company culture by just getting rid of the woke lunatics. Let's see. Shazir wrote that he doesn't believe humans have an attribute called gender. Agreed. And that it's not okay to sterilize children. How on earth did we get to a place where anybody would find that controversial? How on earth did we get it? It's just alternate universe stuff. Alternate universe. So, he doesn't believe humans have an attribute called gender. Gender is just it's metaphysics, right? We used to use gender just interchangeably with sex. It was just a synonym of sex. They were just the same thing, right? Before it was redefined into this infinite series of abstractions. It's metaphysics. It's the progressive soul. It's not a real thing. It's not okay to sterilize children. It's almost impossible to think of something more sane than that. A sentence more sane than that. It's not okay to sterilize children. Let's see. Oh, and let's go back here for a second. The comments, while personal, have reignited tensions within Google over how much freedom employees have to express beliefs that run counter to the company's culture. So, sterilizing children is part of the company's culture, apparently. So, like chemical castration of children or actual surgical double mastectomies of confused children, right? Preventing children from growing into healthy adult bodies. That's part of the company's culture. I wonder if Google regrets getting involved with all this shit in the first place, because that's crazy. That's insane. For those unfamiliar with the name, Noam Shazir isn't just another tech executive. He's one of the founding engineers of the AI revolution. A former Google Brain researcher, he co-authored several of the papers that laid the foundation for the transformer architecture, the breakthrough technology that powers models like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude today. After leaving Google, Shazir co-founded Character AI, a startup that quickly became one of the most popular AI chat platforms in the world. Its viral success, backed by major investors and used by millions, underscored just how valuable Shazir's ideas are. So when Google wanted to supercharge its Gemini project, it opened its checkbook and paid $2.7 billion to buy Character AI and bring Shazir home. So if you had a sane company, that would just be the end of it, right? Just everybody else, shut up. Just shut up with your crazy ideas and you're complaining about literally everything and pretending that you're oppressed by everything. Shut up. All of you, shut up. Does it help your productivity? No. Does it help the productivity of the company? No. Shut up. And that's how I would handle it personally. Anyway, let's see. Anything else in here? No, got all of that. So, we're at the last tab. We're at the last tab of the evening. All right. Let's see. Let's go through. Actually, I want to go back for 1 second to this and see if anything more exciting is happening than just this live feed of this room.
Important because the increased supply of homes will help drive down the.
Well, that's not what we wanted. Texas Governor Abbott launches re-election bid. Let's go back here and see if there's anything new on whether they finally finished off that vote. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look like it's actually gone through yet. These things just take forever. All right. Go back to the chat for a second. JDL, how you doing? 10th like, hit the like button. Listen to JDL, everybody. Be like JDL and hit that like button. Get your free good karma right now from Radio Baloney. 10th like, I'm going to say that's, I don't know, 1.05 good karmas. It's a little down the list, 10th. It's not first, but still, that's extra good karma for you. All right. Chef Rico, how you doing? Let's see. So Spambot is using a super grok for suggestive videos. It turns out fine. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Izzy says hasn't been impressed. Don't trust the output. Okay. What else do we got? All right. Let's move on. So here we are. Let's see. Trump's 50-year mortgage plan is only a ploy to put more money in. What's this? Do you remember Charlie Kirk's suggestion on how we fix the housing crisis in America? I don't know. I don't think we're going to look at that. Let's see. Dogs just want to have fun and be loved. Oh, you know what? We can't show this one because I think that Spam told me, the music we can't play. All right, we're going to watch this tomorrow, this one. We like the palate cleanser stuff. We love it. This may be one of the funniest things I've seen on the internet. This may be one of the funniest things I've seen on the internet. Okay, let's take a look. So that was the movie Signs. Remember that about the aliens? He's watching the alien invasion on TV. Oh, God damn it. We'll have to do this one tomorrow too because of the music, because it looks like you kind of need the music for that. But how about Greg Gutfeld here? So Vince Langman posted this. He's talking about Colbert and Kimmel, apparently. I have not watched this myself yet, and I'm going to be watching it with you guys for the first time as well.
Is there any kind of actual animosity there?
No.
Because, I just was looking up stuff you said about Colbert. It's like, you call him a smug loser or something like that. The one that stood out for me about Kimmel was, let me make sure I get this right. If that man was any more full of shit, he'd be a colostomy bag.
Yes.
It doesn't tip over into personal animosity?
No, I have this thing called the hierarchy of smears. And that means at the hierarchy of smears, you call somebody a fascist who's going to destroy the world. I can call you anything.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think he's got a point there, doesn't he? What did he say there at the beginning? Hold on.
Up stuff you said about Colbert. It's like, you call him a smug loser or something like that. The one that stood out for me about Kimmel was, let me make sure I get this right. If that man was any more full of shit, he'd be a colostomy bag.
Yes.
It doesn't tip over into personal animosity?
No, I have this thing called the hierarchy of smears. And that means at the hierarchy of smears, you call somebody a fascist who's going to destroy the world. I can call you anything.
So the New York Times reporter there, or interviewer, thought he had a bit of a gotcha there. And I think Greg Gutfeld put him in his place pretty well there, pretty convincingly. Yeah, if you're going to call somebody a fascist who's going to destroy the world, that's actually much worse than, I don't know, a colostomy bag, calling somebody a colostomy bag, in my opinion. There's another one here, too. Let's check this out. All right, let's check this one out.
They write letters, but they're so polite. Though the ones I get, I'm telling you, man, the ones I get, it's like, Greg, we always respect your opinions, but I must ask you, please refrain from using the Lord's name in vain. And then they will try to, it's Penn Jillette said to me, he's an atheist. He's like,
someone who works at Planned Parenthood might have a different opinion about how polite the religious.
Well, I mean, they are killing
children,
so that's part of the game. In your face.
There's a.
They write letters, but there's.
He's doing it perfectly. Like, just he's just making fun of this guy, right? Just this smug guy, this smug elitist. He's obviously not there. He's obviously not there to just do like an objective interview with Greg Gutfeld, who's a very notable guy now in TV. I think his show outperforms all of the other, late night interview people by far. And they're all political shows now, right? They're all political shows like Colbert, Kimmel. They're all political now, just like the Greg Gutfeld show. So it's so satisfying to see this guy's smugness, because that he sees himself as brilliant. He's a brilliant, and he's obviously he's so much more intelligent and self-aware than any conservative, than Greg Gutfeld. It's really satisfying to see him to get it thrown in his face. Don't play the game. We saw this with Sydney Sweeney, with that interviewer from GQ. Just don't play the game. Just refuse to play. Just say no. Don't give them what they want, because they'll never stop. Let's see. Lynn P posted this. So this is just dogs that are very happy with the sticks they found. Let's check it out.
Marley, what do you think you're doing? No.
Your stick? Yeah?
Mate, Doc.
I like your stick.
Go closer.
Really? Get it off the couch.
Take it out.
Dogs are great. They really do get weirdly proud and possessive of these sticks that they find. Oh no.
I say drive through the weekend. What in the world is that?
Come on.
Anyway, dogs are great. We love dogs. Let's see. Spambot says, Spambot was saying, Richie, I did say a clothed person with the AI thing. I read too much into it. I'll never make that mistake again. Let's see. Spambot says, I will not animate a nude image. Okay. Well, I got it wrong. I thought you were way worse a person than you are. So it's my bad. Let's see. Never watched Signs. Spambot's never watched anything other than Once Upon a Time in the West, and about half of the, or 2/3 of the pilot episode of Tales of the Gold Monkey. Let's see. And Rosie never saw Signs? Really? That's the M. Night Shyamalan, the director M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan? Oh yeah, it's actually not that hard. I like his movies. I watch all of his movies, and now he gets panned every single movie. For a while there, like Sixth Sense and Signs was a huge success. And then all of a sudden, everybody decided that they hated his movies. All the critics did, but I like them. I'm not saying that they're all masterpieces, but I always enjoy his movies. I watch all of them. It's like actually one of the few directors that I look forward to their movie, like every time. Let's see. Let's watch. I want to watch this one more time.
They write letters, but they're so polite. No, the ones I get, I'm telling you, man, the ones I get, it's like, Greg, we always respect your opinions, but I must ask you, please refrain from using the Lord's name in vain. And then they will try to, it's like Penn Jillette said to me, like he's an atheist. He's like,
someone who works at Planned Parenthood might have a different opinion about how polite the religious.
Well, I mean, they
letter
are killing
writers
children, so that's part of the game. In your face.
Hold on a second.
Polite the religious.
Well, I mean, they are killing
are,
children,
but...
so.
Yeah, well, they are killing children, right? Well, I mean, that is actually what's happening by any objective measure, you know. So this guy is not used to. Hold on, this guy is not used to that. That's not something he's ever going to hear at his dinner parties that he goes to. But maybe he needs to hear it. Now, we've only got a couple left here. So we only got about 5 minutes left, but I want you guys to tell me, is this real or fake? Real or fake? Is this real or AI? Okay, we'll play it one more time. You guys tell me, is this real or AI? Real or AI? All right, what's the verdict, everybody? So let's see. Ottawa James, how you doing? Good to see you. I think you just joined us, didn't you? Let's see. Oh, amazing faces too. Good to see you. I think you just joined as well. All right. Unfortunately, we're almost right at the end. Let's see. So Ottawa James says real. Rosie says AI. Trudeau Survivor says AI. Let's see. Drama says AI. JDL says AI. Amazing Faces says real. Nevada says I'm saying real. Spambot says my guess real. McCraw says if it was real, I don't think it would have waited as long as it did to pounce. So I guess that's a not real. So I think AI actually. Well, let me count. Hold on. So let's see. Okay, so real is 1. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 reels. And AI is so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So AI wins. It is AI, which is crazy. For context, this video is AI generated, not real footage. Signs include the cheetah's unnatural nocturnal behavior. Cheetahs are active during the day and hunt them. It follows a trend of AI animal videos made to look like real surveillance video. Well, is that the only proof? Is that it's happening at night? They're saying AI generated. I mean, it looks so real. Like it's getting to the point where it really is. Like I'll tell you right now, blackmail is going to go the way of the dinosaur. You just won't. You say it's AI, like, some honeypot trap or something, politician, just like, oh, it's AI. I mean, you can't tell the difference. Although maybe this here is a little bit of a clue right there, actually. I don't know. But anyway, it's AI. It's saying it's AI. So I think we've got to go with that. Let's see. Rosie asks, Spam, did you see The Sound of Music or The Wizard of Oz? And Spam replies, forced to sit through the first, willingly on the second. I remember watching The Sound of Music when I was a kid. I thought it was really good when I was a kid. I haven't watched it as an adult. Wizard of Oz, yeah, that's a classic. Although I had nightmares about that witch, Wicked Witch of the West, for like a while. Let's see. Oh, Don K said AI as well over on YouTube there. How you doing, Don? Let's see. All right. I just want to right now, we're going to be going pretty soon, but I want to remind anybody on YouTube, the channel you're watching right now is Radio Baloney, the original channel, 13,000 subscribers. This is for live streams and Canadian news now. I've opened up this new channel, Radio Baloney News on YouTube, which is going to be all of the U.S. news, the world news, the meme reviews, all of that is going onto that channel now. So it will no longer be on the channel you're watching now. So please go over and subscribe. It's the featured channel on my homepage. All right. Let's see. I'm just putting on the boat show for a second. All right. Trudeau Survivor says, cats don't attack like that. It looked really real to me. I got to tell you, like, I had no idea, right, whether it was real or not. I had to check. I mean, it could have been a rabid cheetah, a cheetah with rabies or something. And that makes, sometimes animals act weird if they're starving, or if they don't do normal behavior. They'll hunt in like different times than they normally would. If they're sick, if they're dying. Spambot said the Critical Drinker production hell on Wizard of Oz is hilarious. I've actually seen that too, and you're right, it was really good, actually. Those the what are they called? The midgets in it? Wizard of Oz, they got up to a lot of stuff that, well, it didn't make it into the final cut. But the midgets were well paid and had drunken orgies. It's true. I didn't want to say it, but it's true. Let's see. Ottawa James says, Richie, your YouTube is picking up. Well, not really. It picks up a little bit and then it goes away. I think the algorithm forgets to block me for like a little bit and then it remembers again. Let's see. Munchkins, Rosie says Munchkins. Yes, the Munchkins were having drunken orgies. That's right. Forgot what they were called. All right. I think we don't have much left here. We cannot watch this tonight. We have to watch that tomorrow. And then I think this one here, we're going to save this. I think we're going to save, screw it. I keep saying that about this one. Let's take a look. I mean, it's not, it's actually good. You know what this is? This is positive. This is like aspirational. This is nice. It's a palate cleanser. It's also positive, inspirational. I think this is worth it. This is a good one to end off the stream with. Let's check it out.
So I heard that apparently if you travel to Iceland and if you go into this town, past all the heart-shaped traffic lights, keep going a little bit more, past all the costume-shaped trash cans, you'll officially enter a real-life place that literally feels like a fairy tale year-round. But the reason might surprise you. It's not because of the town's forest lagoon that has geothermal baths immersed in nature. Not because of the local Santa house that you can get chocolate-dipped waffles at.
So magical.
And it's not the town's dog sledding. But the coolest part is if you drive east, past Godafoss, an unreal place with many waterfalls and wildflowers. Wow. Keep driving past this place, a geothermal volcanic field that actually feels like you're on a different planet. Drive a little bit more, but then you see a cow sign. So, homemade ice cream made from local Icelandic cows. Really good. Keep driving. But this time alongside ancient volcanoes, volcanic beaches, lava caves, all within 1 hour of the town. Until you get here and stop. look around, you'll realize the same God that made this, and this decided this same beautiful world would not be complete without you in it. Stay tuned for more bucket list adventures around the world.
See, that's just positive, right? That's just nice, right? That's just, I think inspirational. It's very positive, whether you're religious or not, right? It's true that every single person is unique. I mean, that's not my opinion. I mean, that's just fact. Like, everybody genetically actually is unique. There was never been another one of you, and there never will be another one of you, ever. So anyway, I thought that's a nice one to end it off on, right? Don K says that cat would have run as soon as the first dog got up. Plus, if he was rabid, he wouldn't have crept up, as he'd be out of his mind. LOL. Probably, but we have to keep in mind, most animals are retarded, right? Most animals are retarded. They are. If they seem like they're stupid, it's because they are. Like squirrels, as an example. How have they not gone extinct, right? I mean, it seems like they want to be run over by your car. They want to be. I mean, they keep running in. I mean, maybe they are just, maybe it sucks so much being a squirrel, living in a tree. You know what? They live in those trees, and they can look down into your windows, cold winter nights when it's rainy or snowy or whatever, and they see you're in there, and you're watching TV. Maybe you got your dog or your cat sitting with you, and you got tons of food, and they look at it and they go, it's not fair. It's not fair. First off, they say there is no God. Because all squirrels are atheists, because their life sucks so bad, right? And or maybe they're not. I don't know. But whatever. I mean, whatever. They see how other animals are living, and they just think this isn't fair. I have to live in a tree, and there's constantly things trying to kill me all the time. What's even the point? What's the point in all this? There's like birds trying to eat me. There's eagles trying to eat me. And then cats and like dog, everything's chasing me around all the time. My life's a living hell. I live in a bush. This sucks. I have to eat like nuts and then hide them and hope they don't run out in the winter. Like, everything is terrible for squirrels. So maybe they're not retarded. Maybe they just can't go on any longer. I don't know. I don't think anybody will ever know. Maybe AI will figure it out. I try not to run over them, even though I suspect they kind of want me to. All right. Well, I think that's it, folks. Let's see. And now you guys are just talking about the weather. I might as well not even be here with my inspirational videos. Well, I guess that's it. All right. Nobody even sparing a thought for the squirrels, for the retarded squirrels. Huh, okay. Well, I see you guys. I see you. I know who you are. All right. But anyway, listen, everybody have a great night. Have a great start to your week. We will be back for the special, our very special, very exclusive Rumble premium stream. It'll only be on Rumble and Locals, and you'll have to be a premium member or a premium, a premium subscriber on Rumble, or a channel member, a Radio Baloney channel member, to watch that. It's absolutely worth it. We have a wonderful time. We watch Tales of the Golden Monkey, and we shoot the shit and stuff, and we hang out. And sometimes we watch movies that Rosie and Spambot want me to put on, even though really what I want to put on is Tales of the Gold Monkey from 1983, the pilot episode, which is an hour and a half long. But in any case, there's going to be lots of fun happening. We just go through random news too. We have a great time. Should I do one more ad read though before we go? Yeah, we'll do one. Why not? One more. All right, everyone, you still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units are going fast. Get one right now before they're all gone. It's exclusive. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy, which is the best kind of energy, and laser focus. No crash, no commies. All right, these are all single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. You gotta keep the mold out. Plus, you're also getting, guess what? A gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinion she's probably some kind of commie hag. And a black 1775 tumbler. Folks, that's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for only $99. Now, I'm no biologist, but I believe that's under $100. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, guess what? Spoiler alert. It is. Go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com. That's 1775COFFEE.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Do I have to spell it out? No, but I do it anyway. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Could it be anti-communism? Could it? Let it be anti-communism, just like Rumble does. It is done. It is done. A big, beautiful ad. My favorite ad. My favorite ad of all. I think that's my favorite ad of all time. Let's see. Spambot says channel members get premium content. Now, they always have. I'm glad they fixed that, Spambot says. Let's see. Macross says you need to have an after party. After parties are good. Let's see. Spambot says great ad read. I know. I know. Let's see. Spambot gave it a 10 out of 10, which is almost the most you can get out of 10. So thank you very much, sir. Let's see. Rosie says, no crash, no mold, no commies. 10 out of 10. Again, almost the most you can get out of 10. Ottawa James says, coffee. JDL says, 10 out of 10. I'm on a streak here. Trudeau Survivor says, it's strange how gifted memberships are allocated to people who already have Rumble Premium. Really? Priority should be given to those without Rumble Premium. I did not know that was happening, and I regret to inform you there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Let's see. Agreed. Spambot says agreed, Trevor, but don't know how to suggest it to Rumble admins. Are you sure it's not? I'm sure that people without Rumble Premium are getting the memberships. I'm sure they are. So, some are. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll get it all sorted out eventually. Rosie says, good night, all. Thanks, Richie. Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Rosie. Thanks, everybody who showed up. If you guys weren't here, I wouldn't bother doing it because it would be depressing and boring. But you're here, so it's not. Thanks very much. You guys were in good form, rare form tonight. And we'll see you all tomorrow for the premium stream, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. Everybody have a great night. Great start to your week. See ya.